Good evening, Space Monkey. This is the triumphant story of Anthony Stradivarius on his way to the Albert Hall, where he has the misfortune of encountering Worel Gummidge whilst he has his bad head on.
Aunt Sally, I've got a very special gift for you. Gonna fit you and everything.
What is it, Basil?
It's a very special, greatly, deeply considered, phenomenal gift I'd like to give to you, Aunt Sally.
Oh, do get on with it, Basil.
All right, here it is. It's a very speciality, bum monkeyland baby cake, gone official and everything.
Basil, it's a cake of muck.
It's a very speciality, monkeyland baby cake, gone official and everything.
It's shit. Take it away.
Well, I chose it special. Out of all the different cakes I'm looking at field, I thought this would be the best one for you.
I don't want a cake of muck, Basil. Take it away.
All right.
And with that, Worel walks off into the distance, upset, right? And Stradivarius happens along. Hello, Aunt Sally.
Hello.
I'm going to the Albert Hall.
Oh, then perhaps you're good enough to be my companion.
I'm just going to the gig right now. I just thought I'd stop and say hello.
Yes. Can I have a free ticket?
Oh, I actually do have free tickets here. I'll give you one here.
Thank you. It's much better than a cake of muck.
Hope so. Well, have a good day. I'll be on my way. And as Stradivarius turns, he sees Worel in the distance, and Worel goes like this. And slides down the embankment into a ditch. So Stradivarius runs up and offers his hand down to Worel. Worel, let me help you here. Yeah?
I thank you.
And Worel grabs Stradivarius's hand and squeezes with all his might. Worel, that's really sore. Let go. I'm going to be doing a gig in a minute. I need this hand to be working. I'm glad it's not this hand.
I'm very sorry. I'm not deliberately trying to hurt your hand.
Oh, hope not, Worel. Come up. You use the strength in your legs to push yourself up. You're hurting my hand.
If you give me your other hand, that should help.
All right, here we go. Right, come on, up you come. And Worel bites Stradivarius's violin hand. He's crushed his bow hand and bitten his violin hand. Yeah? Worel, you bastard!
Don't call me a bastard. Just give us a hand up.
I'm trying to give you a hand up. You're crushing my hand and biting my hand.
I promise I won't do it again. I never meant it. Just, give me your hand, and what I'll do is, you can help me up.
Okay, right, here you are. And with that, Worel was his new companion.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the Albert Hall. I just told Aunt Sally that's where I was going. What happened to you?
I was walking along the road, and there was a tiny little stone like that one, and it basically, I stood up and I walked up and I went and I fell down the gully.
It's to be tiny stone. It's amazing. You know, something like that can trip you up and you're away. So I'm glad you're better now. I'll be on my way because I need to get to the Albert Halls. I'm doing a gig, and I'm hoping that my new violin goes down well. I really believe in the sound of it, and you know, I'm hoping to entertain, inspire, illuminate, you know, and you know, enthrall people who I want to inspire. You know.
Yeah, sounds very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
Okay, well, I'll just be on my way.
Before you go, can I come with you?
We can come some of the journey. I gave the only free ticket, you know, to Aunt Sally. That's the only thing.
Did you, rival?
Did you call me a rival there, Worel?
Well, what are you then? Trying to pull me bird?
No. She asked really, and I just gave her the ticket. You know, it was the only free one I had actually.
Well, I'll come with you some of the way. I'll come with.
All right. Well, let's get going then. You know, come on, let's go.
That's not very good acting.
What do you mean?
Nothing at all.
You know, Worel, my hands are very sore to this moment, you know, and I hope they get better for the gig, because I don't want to let the people down. There's going to be lots and lots of people there, you know.
Yeah, lots and lots of very special, caring, wonderful people.
Well, I'm not saying there's going to be wonderful, caring, special people there. I mean, there'll be a lot of people who are not good people, you know. There will be people at the back who, you know, are in the poor seats, and they're the people I really want to reach, you know. You know, because I remember when I was a kid, you know, and I saw an orchestra, and although the orchestra was predominantly made up of paedophiles, really.
Did you say paedophiles?
Yes, Worel, I did. I'm just saying, you know, the orchestra was predominantly made of paedophiles, so, you know, the only thing was that some of the people in there weren't paedophiles, and the ensemble of the sound was quite inspiring, and I was quite young, and so the symphony that was formed, it was from some long dead composers, and you know, and I thought, that's a really good direction to take yourself in life, rather than to war or, you know, to crime or what have you, you know.
Yeah, very inspiring. So, well, shall we get going?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, because I'm not in too much of a hurry. You know, I've left early, so you know, I just want, you know, things to work out well for myself. You know.
Can I ask you a question?
Fire away.
When you actually perform, what music will you be playing?
I'll probably be playing like a piece by Paganini, you know, which is one of my favourites, and to start with anyway.
What if nobody likes it?
Well, if nobody likes it, then, you know, blimey. Well, I've got some other pieces I'll be playing. You know, it'll be a reasonably long concert, maybe about an hour and a half or something like that.
What if nobody likes the other musical choices?
Well, it'll be a bit of a letdown, a bit of a damp squib. However, if I do manage to inspire, you know, a child at the back of the room who are in the poor seats, then, you know, that's the main thrust of what my overarching aims are. You know, to inspire people, to kind of uplift them, to make them take their mind away from things and into something that frees them of worry and stress and things of the past that threaten and hope to drag them back.
Sounds like a load of old shit.
What?
Total bollocks. How can some cunt playing a fucking fiddle actually make somebody go, you know, insane?
Worel, you seem to be pretending that if I help people through the phenomenon of music, you know, that there's a possibility that could be construed as insanity. You could say that music is a form of insanity we all understand, like a folie à deux, as I once thought about a long, long time ago. There's a word, folie, like multiples, and it's like a kind of madness of the many. However, I believe music's from God. It's divine, you know, and I don't believe, you know, that it's a bad thing, which you seem to be implying, when I know my intentions at heart, you know, and they're good, you know, and so I'll just crack on.
Well, before you do...
Worel, I have left early, but, you know, I need to get going now, thank you, you know.
Well, but just a moment. If you're saying music is like insanity we all understand, then how can you pretend you've contradicted me?
Because of the intention that's clear, Worel, that you had at heart, you know, it appears to me anyway that your intention's bad, you know, and bad intention is something which is apparent to people who are as vigilant, as, shall we say, aware as I am.
Are you trying to say I'm not self-aware?
Well, I hadn't actually said that. However, now you've said that, it seems like an admission, really, or that you know you're not aware.
Not aware of what, actually?
You're not aware how obvious and transparent you are in trying to be disrespectful to me, you know, and trying to put down what it is I'm just going to keep on doing. I'm going towards, you know, the Albert Hall, you know. You notice, look, I've got my violin strapped to my back, you know, yeah. Hands free, yeah. I can see in the future, yeah.
Can't see very far.
Worel, was that a threat by any chance? You know, are you trying to imply that you are planning something negative for me after what we've already been through? Thanks. And look at my fucking trousers, look. They're fucked up, you know. They've got muck on them because of you and everything. Yeah, look at my hands. There's teeth marks in my hand, Worel. And this hand's still throbbing because of you. Yeah.
That'll teach you.
Worel, what do you mean it'll teach me? What? It will teach me not to have been kind to you, not to have tried to help you when I saw you wobble and fall because of that wee tiny stone. Yeah? You're trying to pretend I need to be taught something. You, who is unself-aware, insane, and of bad intention, yeah, are pretending that by me helping you, I need to learn. You know, perhaps you're right to a certain extent. Perhaps I shouldn't help people anymore because I keep meeting shite like you, Worel.
Did you just say shite?
Worel, there's no word you can say, right, if it's true, that makes you a bad person for saying it, right? That's a fact. If you've got good intentions at heart, and especially if the person you're talking to is rotten to the fucking core.
I'm not rotten to the core. I'm actually made of straw.
Why? Aye. Rotten straw. You're rotten straw. You're rotten. Yeah. I'm just trying to go to the Albert Hall, violin strapped to my back, and now I've got teeth marks, fucking a throbbing hand, you know, muck all over my jeans, you know, trousers, and I'm going to be late if I don't get going.
You forgot to include all the psychological stuff you just said.
Well, you're trying to imply I'm remiss in not repeating aspects of what I already needlessly pointed out to you, because you obviously know in that fucking turnip that you're a bad person and have no justification of any kind. All I can think of is Aunt Sally, you know, didn't want to date you today or something like that, and instead she's taken the ticket to come to see me, and so you've put these two things together, but you didn't even know that when you were in the ditch, so it's just the Aunt Sally rejection I think you're suffering from and the falling into the ditch.
You're a fucking mind reader or something.
Well, now you've said fucking, right? And I'm not going to have a go at that because it's just a colourful expletive. As I once pointed out to a prostitute 1,000,000 years ago when she was shouting at her son Ramsay because he'd said the word fucking. I pointed out it's the intention at heart that's important. You know, for example, I said, if he drinks a glass of milk and it's lovely and he puts it down and he says, that were fucking excellent, ma'am, right, then that's just a colourful expletive. Whereas if he walks up to her and says, you're a fucking cunt, you fucking cunt, that's different. He's got bad intention, he's hoping that she's offended, and then all the psychological stuff I'm not going to go over again that happens when you hope to be offensive to someone if the other person isn't, shall we say, as skilled in self-control, and nor should they need to be if it weren't for people like you, Worel.
What's wrong with people like me?
If only you knew.
Well, why don't you tell me on our special journey together?
All right, Worel. Anyway, so tell me a bit about yourself.
What do you want to know?
What have you stopped for?
Because you're not very good at walking.
I'll give it another go. You know, maybe if I walk fast enough I can get rid of you, you know?
Oh no, you'll never get rid of me. Thanks very much. You'll never ever get rid of me.
Well, I think I will, because, you know, if you when you're trying to get into Albert Hall, you won't have a ticket. You know, the big, fat, horrible, bald guys there at the front door, you know, who'll, just, rip you limb from limb, you know. And so you were going to tell me about yourself.
Well, I spend all day, right, in a field like this.
That sounded a wee bit depressing, Worel. You just sound a wee bit depressing, you know. And so is that at the heart of it?
The heart of what?
The heart of what's wrong with you.
There's nothing wrong with me. Thank you very much.
Well, okay, well, let's get going, you know. Thanks for the in-depth conversation about your life and all the rest of it, you know.
I'm going to ask you a question now.
Worel, I need to get going, you know. I need to get there, you know, reasonably early. I like to kind of relax as the atmosphere kind of builds, and then, you know, before I go on stage, I'm totally, you know, calm, and then just channel myself through the, you know, the performance, you know, channeling.
All right, after you finish talking that shit, what I'm going to do is...
Worel, right, you've referred to what I've innocently given you as being shit, right? You're pretending to be the arbiter of reality. You're pretending that when you say something, it makes it so. You know, it doesn't make it so, you know, and you know it doesn't make it so. I'm explaining to you what you already know. You know, you're just trying to be offensive again. Yeah, yeah. Shit is the kind of stuff you've put on these slacks I'm wearing. Yeah. Shit is what you're giving me, you know, by biting me and crushing my hand, you know. Yeah. Shit is what you were trying to give Aunt Sally when you were giving her what she rejected earlier. Yeah. Yeah. You're pretending that I am what you are, that what I've got to offer is all that you've got to offer. It doesn't work on me. I'll see you later.
Well, just a moment, right? If all that's true, right, and it's me that's giving you shit, right, and it's me that's only capable of giving people shit, then why aren't you offended?
Why am I offended that you're trying to give me shit and that all you're capable of is shit? Why would I be offended that you're shit? You know, and it's a choice. Yeah, you don't have to choose to give people shit. You don't have to choose to be shit. You know, it's a choice. You know, and because you're making that choice over there separately, you know, it doesn't leave the circumference of your skull. I don't have to, you know, synthesize a parallel shit, you know, in my head, you know, a shit state, you know, so you're in a shit state, right? And you want me to pretend I'm in a shit state so that I react in a certain way which would leave me in a kind of funk, a kind of head funk, which would make you feel better, would it?
Yeah, a little bit, yes, actually. So it would actually make me feel a lot better.
But why me though? You know, I mean, of all the people you could target, you know, your scarecrow buddies, you know, why the person who stopped, even though they're going somewhere of great importance, you know, why the person who stopped to try and help you out of a ditch, why that person, yeah? Why not people who you're genuinely angry at, you know, even including perhaps Aunt Sally, but, you know, she's perfectly entitled to say she doesn't want shit off you. But the point being, why the goodly Samaritan who tries to help you out of the ditch? Why that person?
Just because, you know, well, you're not as important as I am.
Worel, right, you just impersonated that you have a stick up your arse for a living, right? For a reason, right? Right? I'm going to the fucking Albert Hall, right, to perform for people, right? To try and inspire them, right? And try and reach a child and hope it goes in a better direction in life than it otherwise might. Yeah, and I've made my own violin to bloody well do it with. Yeah? Right? And you're pretending that you're superior to me, which then entitles you to give me your fucking shit when you have a stick up your arse for a living for a reason. Right? You're a scarecrow. Right? Your life's shit. Right? It's got nothing to do with me. I've helped you out of the shit. And I've got the scars to prove it. Stop trying to give me your shit. Alright?
Alright, let's get going.
If I'm late, Worel, never mind. Right.
You know, your violin, you made it yourself, you say?
Yeah, I made it myself, Worel, yeah, I made it myself. I do wonder what you're going to say next, you know.
Nothing. It's just, it's never been played in public before, has it?
Well, I am a violin maker, Worel, so, you know, I probably know the difference between, like, a good sounding violin and a shite sounding violin. You know, although, you know, you'd be the expert in that field. Worel, did you just pretend that me giving you a little taste of your own medicine predates your countless instigations?
No, I don't know what the fuck you're on about.
Fair enough. So, okay, right, yeah, so I'm an expert in, you know, well, I don't like using the word expert, you know. Experts are usually self-appointed fuckwits, you know. And so, what I am is, you know, I've got a great deal of expertise, you know. I'm accomplished, you know. I'm a craftsman. I really know my shit, you know, when it comes to violins and stuff like that, you know. And so, I'm confident, you know. You're trying to adversely affect my self-confidence before I do a gig in the Albert Hall. You know my aims. You've failed, Worel, you failed in your latest attempt at psychologically adversely affecting me, i.e. abusing me. Thanks. You know.
I wasn't trying. What, me? Trying to be abusive? No, I don't know what you mean.
You do know what I mean. But we'll just keep on going, you know. So I'm not stopping anyway, you know. I've stopped long enough for you. Yeah. I get it. You're trying to slow me down. I get it. Oh, for God's sake, you know. It doesn't matter, Worel. I still get there. I still do the gig. It goes exactly how I've you know, foreseen it. Yeah.
But there's something you might not have foreseen.
What would that be?
What if, when you're doing the gig, you break a string?
Well, I've got loads of other spare strings in the case, you know. Once again, you're trying to sow this seed of doubt or anxiety, you know. Your shit's garbage. It doesn't work on me. It doesn't work on an adult human being who knows what you are. You've got a fucking turnip for a head.
Alright, okay. But the thing is this, right, basically, right, when you're standing on that stage, right, what if you're giving it your best go, right, and people just think it's shit?
It's a possibility, Worel, you know. I don't think they will, you know. I'm very skilled on the violin, you know, love it to pieces, quite literally, you know, and so I don't think that will happen. Moreover, it's transparent what you're continuing to hope for. You know, it doesn't work on me. You know, I'm fully aware though of what your intention is, and for your intention, you know you deserve me to physically attack you, right? Or to psychologically attack you at least. I'm not going to. I want to keep myself focused on what I'm going to be doing, yeah?
So you want to attack me?
No, Worel, what I said the exact opposite. I'm saying to you, I should attack you on account of what it is you know you're guilty of. You seem to be pretending again that me providing you with consequence, even mentioning providing you with consequence, even mentioning that I'm not going to be providing you with consequence you know you deserve, you're pretending that predates your instigations, your repeated instigations, your thanklessness for me trying to take you out of a hole in the bloody ground, yeah? You then crushing my hand, biting my hand, yeah? Mucking my jodhpurs, and then, you know, going on and trying to be offensive, hoping to offend me. It's not going to happen, but I'm saying again, I notice you seem to be predating any kind of reaction you get of any kind as though it justifies your repeated instigations. You know, it's crap thinking. You're pretending you want to justify your continued hellish campaign towards me.
Hellish?
Well, a slight exaggeration, you know. It's not exactly hellish, you know. But, you know, it's not heavenly. You know what I mean? Oh, you've slowed me down again. Oh, congratulations, you win. You know.
Just another moment, right? The only thing is this, right? You're going somewhere, right, to play on your fiddlesticks, and you have admitted that it might be shite, and that you might not accomplish what you want to accomplish, and that the choice of music might be garbage, and a string might break.
These are statements that go without saying. You know, for example, if I was going to play the fucking oboe, you know, I might spit through it and hit a woman in the front row. You know, it just goes without saying. You know, that's life. You know, you try and overcome these things. You overcome them rather than succumb to them. You know, and then become, you know, the creature I found in the ditch. You know, the truth of the matter is, Worel, people like you bite fingers off the hand that feeds them. Yeah, that sums you up to a T. You know, somebody offers their hand down into your despair, and the human mind struggles with the concept that when they're helping someone, the person's biting fingers off them. It goes against morality, conscience, self-awareness, all these other wonderful things that are very, very important, that are completely lost on you, because the only thing that matters to you is how you're feeling. That's the only thing that matters to you, how you're feeling. And when you feel bad, you want somebody else to feel bad. But it's always somebody whom you don't fear consequence from, who you pretend their consequence predates your campaign against them. You just want them to feel bad because you feel bad, Worel, which is abominable.
You've just talked a load of shite. You just made up a load of nonsense.
I can't be conned, Worel. I can't be conned out of knowing what I know, right? I've seen it too many times. It does beggar belief, you know, that people like you are basically that. You know, when you feel bad, you target people you don't fear to try and see if you can make them feel bad. You're a shite person, Worel. In every conceivable way, you're a shite person, yeah? And, you know, no matter if somebody's being kind to you, you're a shite person. If someone's being not kind to you, you are actually more seemingly respectful towards them, behind which I'm sure you have treachery in mind, whether that's justified or not. Towards kind people, Worel, you should make an exception. You know, I have nothing bad about me. I have good intentions. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You know, I'm going to the Albert Hall to do some good. You know, I hope. You know, and, you know, that's my intention. And I know everything you're going to say along these lines. You're not going to put me off. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Yeah.
Hold on a moment. The thing is, right, a lot of people might like your music. They might not think it's shit. And, you know, you might not break a string, you probably will. And the reality situation is there might be no children there at the Albert Hall at all. And if they are, why are you so interested in children?
Worel, it's become abundantly clear, right? You're a sex offender.
You what? You're the fucking sex offender? You're the one that's wanting to touch children?
No. See, music's phenomenal, Worel. It's not really madness. It's the kind of thing that can move you without you touching it or it touching you. It can touch you, but you can't feel it, but you can feel it. You know, you can be touched by it, but you can't touch it. You can feel it, but you can't feel it. And it can move you, but it's invisible. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Yeah, it's a gift from God. And we all understand it to some extent or other. Yeah. And so that's the way music can reach out. And more importantly, in another way, it can inspire, enthuse, channel someone into a direction in life they otherwise wouldn't have gone. As I said earlier, they might be going to war. Yeah. However, if you get them all into an orchestra, well, there's a platoon that didn't go and kill somebody who is just slightly further away from them on the same wet rock. The point is, Worel, it's people like you who are behind war. You're troublemakers because you're not happy inside. You feel bad, right? And you think you're entitled to attack people if you think you can get away with it. Yeah, and if you can con them into the bargain, then that proves you're more intelligent than them. And if you can get them to feel that they are what you are, then you've traded places with them. You're a lunatic. Yeah? Your shit's garbage. It doesn't work on an adult human being. Yeah? You're pretending that I am what you are, which lets me see you're a fucking paedophile. Or at least These are the thoughts you have. These bad thoughts you want rid of, you want me to feel. I know my intention. My intention's always been good towards children, nothing but good. Yeah? If you have a bad thought, you don't have to do it. Yeah? So if you have bad thoughts and you haven't done it, we'll let it go. Yeah? Go and eat another turnip, another cake of shit. Right? Oh, I see what you've done, Worel. You were wanting to make me angry. And you think you've successfully made me angry. No, it's passion. Yeah, I'm passionate about things. You're just a weary, sleazy, fucking lowlife, gutter trash. Yeah, who I also have tried to help whilst I'm going to try to help people who are in the poor seats, yeah? But every time I try and help people, Worel, there seems to be a common thread. Yeah? And all I'm pointing out is, you're a sex offender.
What on earth are you talking about? I've gone offended and everything over it.
Worel, you're a sex offender. Right? Right? I've seen it before. I've seen it in lots and lots of different people. You're a psychological would-be abuser. Right? And when you say things that you believe you deserve to be punished for, right? Then, if you get away with it, you ejaculate.
I've never had the likes of it in all my life.
Worel, every time you do that, you're ejaculating in front of a man, and since you're male, you're a homosexual, aggressive psychopath. All psychopaths are sex offenders, yeah? And the most impotent and cowardly of you are cerebral. You think you're covert operators, you're magical thinkers. You lack the mental equipment to exist in reality in that fucking turnip. Might as well be a cabbage.
It was actually going to be a cabbage, but I chose the turnip instead. Probably a bad choice, you know. It's a turnip for the books.
Worel, you don't seem to care. You know, which seems to be a common thread in all the people I've met. Well, the vast majority of them, you know. The greater propensity. You know, and what I'm pointing out to you is that you genuinely are horrible people, you know, who hope to offend each other psychologically, and if you can get away with it, you ejaculate. And children don't know this, Worel. You're a fucking disgrace. Yeah? A fucking disgrace. Yeah? Yeah? You're a aggressive, homosexual lunatic, right?
You're the lunatic. I've never had the likes of it in all my days.
Worel, you're doing it again. You're doing it again, right? And you're not even saying anything offensive. You're just continuing to hope that what you are is so outlandish to the mind of a human that basically I can be conned out of it, out of knowing that about you, so you can continue. Yeah, you can't, you know, con me out of knowing what I keep seeing you doing.
What?
Worel, that. You're pretending, right? You're a magical thinker, you know, and a wishful thinker. Right? You lack the true mental equipment necessary to exist in reality, where I exist, you know, and do my level best to, you know, accomplish things which are humane, you know, humanitarian, overcome shite like you, and even give shite like you a hand up from the bloody gutter. Yet, I repeat, every time I do, I have the teeth marks to prove it. Yeah? That's why you end up in the fucking gutter, because it's where you fucking belong.
So you say, but I heard your mother used to actually work in the gutter.
Worel, once again, you're making up shite and hoping to offend me, right? You're pretending to know my mother, right? You've never met my mother, and you don't know anything about her. And she has never worked as a prostitute in the gutter, if that's what you're implying. Once again, you're hoping to offend me, and it's not going to work, yeah? I'm just going to go.
Well, I thought she was a great ride. Tuppence halfpenny.
Worzel, honestly, mate, you're going to go on until I break your fucking turnip, right? You know, and I'm not going to do it, right? First of all, there's a risk I could hurt my hand, right? And I don't want to hurt my hands any more than you've already damaged them for trying to help you, right? So I'm just going to keep on going, right, to the Albert Hall. However, I repeat for the last time, you're hoping I physically attack you, whether you're aware of it or not, because you know you're behaving in a manner which you know and you feel you deserve to be punished for. So if you behave in that manner and you feel you're getting away with deserving to be punished, then transference is taking place. You're trading places with me. You're giving me your shit. You feel that you're humiliating, degrading, conning, belittling, insulting, degrading, whatever, you know, you believe you're giving me your shit. It never leaves the circumference of your skull, and it requires me to choose to react. And if I don't choose to react, then I don't have to suppress that reaction. So I'm not left with stress, right? You're trying to stress me out. And you know I'm going to the fucking Albert Hall to perform, to help kids. Nothing matters to you, Worzel, except your chicken brain, how it feels. Yeah? It doesn't matter a fuck about your chicken brain.
Doesn't matter a fuck about you.
Obviously it does matter a fuck about me, or I wouldn't have a full Albert Hall bloody waiting on me now. Yeah? To hear me perform on my new violin that I hand-built for the occasion. You don't matter a fuck, which is why you have a stick up your arse in a field most days.
Your voice broke and you sounded like a Jesse.
Worzel, honestly, mate, there's nothing you can say I'm going to choose to have the reaction your spastic brain's hoping for. I don't give a fuck about you. I tried to help because it's human. I'm being myself. Right? Your shit's garbage. You think you've made me angry again. I'm not. I'm being me. You don't affect me. I'm speaking to you the exact same way I would speak to anyone who went on the same way as you, which I've done loads of times in the past. Yeah? I've met you so many fucking times, Worzel. You genuinely are walking shit.
We're not walking though, are we?
Worzel, yeah, we're not walking, and once again, you're pretending to yourself. That's a win. Yeah, that's a win. You're winning against me. And the competition only you're in, will you lose the fucking plot and completely forget what the original mission statement was? Anything will do in your magical thinking, yeah? Originally, you wanted to hurt me because you fell into a ditch after being dumped by, you know, what's her tits?
Aunt Sally.
Okay. But the point is, you know, that was your original statement, so you thought you would covertly, you know, hurt my hands, yeah. But the point is, here I am, like with muck on my trousers, right? I've got two hands which are now recovering nicely, right? You're holding me back deliberately. You've tried to offend me. You've tried to insult me. You've tried to belittle me. You've failed, right? You might think you're a success because I genuinely have muck on my trousers, because I genuinely have, you know, somewhat more sore and scarred hands, and I have exhibited passion which you don't deserve, because you are a fucking scarecrow.
Why are you talking to a scarecrow then?
Worzel, every time you ask a question, you know the fucking answer to it, you know. There's no point me answering you anymore, right? Your questions are rhetorical, your statements are false, and your intentions are impure. I'm going.
Well, I believe that, you know, although you're going to be doing something that seems very, very special, and very caring, I think because you are an ugly man, and because you are now covered in shit thanks to me, and because you now have my teeth marks in your violin hand, and because you know your bow hand must be throbbing, and you know, and you probably are going to break strings, and no one's going to like your performance because it's probably going to sound shit on your homemade DIY violin. You might as well just go home.
Worel. It's the guessing of a 3-year-old child who's been dropped on their head. That's what you're going over, right? See, when you guess, Worel, what does it mean?
I don't know.
Exactly. When you guess, it's because you don't know, right? And the fact is, you don't know because you lack components of your brain which would allow you to see yourself and to know, right? Even if you were a bad human, you know, you would know these things you're saying are shit, they're garbage, they wouldn't work on a fucking 3-year-old child. But I'm fully cognizant you're trying to offend me. I'm fully cognizant you're hoping I choose to react, then have to suppress my right to execute you, smash your fucking turnip into mash, right? And if I do that, if I have that and do that, then I'll be, oh, stressed, if I don't. Right? I'm not having the reaction you're hoping for. You're delusional, right? I am repeating, you lack knowledge, you lack insight, you lack the ability to know what you're guessing. Otherwise you wouldn't be guessing. You'd be stating fact, and you'd either have a good reason for it or a bad reason. But you have a bad intention and you're a know-nothing. Yeah, you're just guessing and hoping for as long as I give you the fucking time of day.
I never understood a word of that.
I don't give a fuck what you say about anything, Worel, right? You just talk shite constantly, and that's that. And you are offensive, you are disgusting, you are repulsive, but your brain thinks that's a choice alone. Nah, in parallel, you truly are disgusting. That's a description, not a reaction. Yeah, you truly are repulsive, irrespective of the fact you're trying to repulse me. So I have this reaction, this knee-jerk reaction, because you genuinely believe I can't knock fuck out of you. You're a scarecrow, I could pull the stuffing out of you and make another fucking haystack for that field. Yeah, I could have left you in that fucking ditch. I didn't have to help you, you thankless stupid cunt. You're pretending to yourself. Shite like you always look for an excuse to pretend. The consequence predates the instigation. Repeated instigation until you find it. Yeah, it's crap. What a shite person you are. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
And with that, Worel smashes Stradivarius as hard as he can in the face and makes off with his violin down the road.
I win!
Worel falls and slides down another ditch. When he gets to the bottom of it, his head hits the ground and shoots off into a distant field, right? And Stradivarius looks down and sees yet another tiny, tiny little stone that had led to Worel staggering and falling. And fortunately, you know, Stradivarius's violin was dropped, so he picks it up and goes to go on his way to the Albert Hall, whereupon he hears Worel shouting from the distant field and his headless body looking for the missing turnip.
Go on, help me out. Give us an hand. Give us an hand. Please, please. Go on, please. If you put my head back on my body, I promise I'll be good this time.
Stradivarius ignores him and just continues on his way to the Albert Hall. Gets there in good time, right? And then goes on stage and performs you know, the performance of a lifetime, phenomenally, and basically inspires the children at the back of the room who, you know, their eyes lit up during the performance, their hearts, their souls were inspired, moved, yeah. And afterwards, Stradivarius decides to come amongst the people who were giving him rapturous standing applause.
I'd just like to say, Stradivarius, that performance tonight were absolute gone brillianted.
Thank you very much, thank you very much. Put a lot into it, you know, I've been through a lot just before performing it, and it meant a lot to me. No more or less than it meant this morning. However, you know, I'm glad I accomplished it.
It was brilliant, it was brilliant. Really, really nice to meet you, really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I thought it was a fantastic performance, and I think you know you're going to go from strength to strength because of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's really, really nice meeting you as well. Nice meeting you as well.
Stradivarius, I can't begin to tell you. That moved me. It moved everyone I know who's here, and basically it was absolutely gone brillianted. You know, you're through to the next round.
Yeah, well, thanks. You know, I'm really, really quite pleased about that. You know, and you know, do come again next time I'm putting on another gig. You know, which might be sometime in the future. You know, but you know, I look forward to it, and thanks again for your appreciation. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, I was just sitting there with some friends, and I heard your performance as well, and did you make that violin yourself?
Yeah, I did. I made the violin myself, and you know, it took me quite a long time. I really put a lot of love into it. You know, put a lot of care into it, and it's one of many prototypes, and I think it's the best one by a distance.
I thought that, you know, because you can tell it's homemade.
I know what you mean. However, I've heard it put different ways, you know, tonight, and I think you're implying that it's, you know, like something that's been made out of a plank and doesn't sound that good. It sounds like something like a child could make from like, you know, like flotsam or jetsam.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Actually, it does. I think it actually does sound kind of like a bit too, like, you know, like homemade.
Yeah, it's the second time you've kind of tried to engineer that statement. It doesn't work on me, you know. I know what you're saying. I don't believe what you're saying, and that's that. You know, it's just like you're pretending that all these people who loved it are wrong.
Well, there's not many of them who are experts, and, you know, so basically it's just that, you know, my advice is to actually buy a violin for next time.
Well, who would I buy the violin from? Because, you know, I make them, and I'm quite renowned for making them. And also, that violin sounded excellent. I didn't expect it to sound so good in this chamber, and I think it added something to the whole ambience, you know. And what you're pretending is just what you premeditated saying. And irrespective of what I would say, given the time of day, it goes in one end of your head and has to come out the other, irrespective of what I react like or not.
Well, you know, I was just saying, and I did notice, you know, your trousers were a fucking disgrace.
Alright, aye. Right, so you're superficial, right? You've got a wee tiny superficial brain, so you think that I should focus on the appearance of my trousers that you don't know the story about, right? And you think I should care about some muck I have on my trousers that didn't wash off in time, or smeared when we had a go at it. And you're pretending that basically I am what you are. You're a disgrace. You've come up after the gig and hoped there's something you can say that I'll choose to have an adverse effect due to. You know, that's your accomplishment. I've got a standing ovation in the Albert Hall, right? And you, your performance is what you want attention from, which trumps me. You're a bird brain. You know, we're not in competition.
I think, you know, yeah, I think you've got mental health issues.
Once again, repeating, I am what you are, right? I've seen this my entire life, right? Every single moron who's jealous of me, who lacks the mental equipment to exist in reality, says, you are what I am. You are what I am. Right? You're all imbeciles, people like you. Yeah? I'm nothing like you. You're unaccomplished. Yeah? I've just accomplished something. Yeah? You've just witnessed people thanking me, appreciating it, and what I wanted to accomplish is beyond your comprehension. You have a superficial brain which can only guess about what you don't know will affect me. You're just hoping to bring me down because you've seen me up there and you've been jealous of me, and you're so insane, so delusional, you believe that you're superior to me, and so therefore you want to try and bring me down so I pretend along with a retard.
What kind of person would speak to a woman like that?
An honest man. Yeah, an honest man would tell you the truth to your ugly inbred face, you talentless fat cow.
Oh, listen to it now. Listen to you now. 1 minute you're God Almighty, next thing you're trying to abuse women. You're a misogynist.
You're pretending to be the arbiter of reality. It doesn't work on real men. Yeah? I tell the truth. If you don't like it, fucking improve. Your shit's garbage. It doesn't work on real men. Yeah? You hate men. You're full of hatred, pretending I am what you are. You're a bigot, a sexist bigot, and a jealous, talentless, fat, mad, ugly, inbred, insane cow.
Listen to yourself, listen to yourself.
You're the one who needs to listen to herself. You can't fucking hear yourself. And if you didn't love that performance, you can't appreciate anything. That's the problem. That's why you never improve, because you lack the mental equipment and ability to channel an appreciation. Yeah, I performed brilliantly for you tonight. I've gone through ordeals even today to get here to help children, not for some stupid fat mad cow who considers herself to be a supreme being. You're an arsehole!
Oh, listen to you now, all high and mighty. You're just gutter trash.
No. You've so little self-awareness, you wish out loud. Right? And you tell me that I am what you are, which lets me know you see yourself as gutter trash that's coasted on charm too far. Because when you end up in an arena with people who are at least somewhat emotionally continent, right? You can't keep your shit together and you think, I think I go up here, you know, and then try and have an adverse effect on me, right? And then that will ameliorate against your gross insecurities and inadequacies, and you thought you could get away with it because I would just let it happen and then you could go home and masturbate over it.
You're mentally deranged.
Once again, letting me know that you know what you are, right? Everything you want to say to me is the workaround for your own stupid brain to give you some fucking insight into your own unconscious, which you obviously aren't fully aware of. You're bloody transparent. Yeah, and shite like you don't stop your fucking garbage until you get a punch in the fucking mouth. And if I don't punch in the mouth, as I discovered again tonight, I get a fucking punch in the mouth.
Too right, you will, because all these men here tonight have seen you and heard you speak to a woman like that.
Women don't deserve any fucking special preferential treatment when they're scum!
How very dare you.
The truth hurts you. The truth hurts you, and I'll tell you why. The word hurt is in the word truth, but it only hurts a liar.
You're the liar.
Once again, saying I am what you are. And hoping impotently, you imbecile. Yeah? Every word I say, I know I believe to be true. Every word you're saying, you know you don't believe to be true. You're transparent. I know that you don't believe what you're saying to be true. You know that you don't believe what you're saying to be true. What more proof would you need that you're a fucking lunatic?
You are what I am. You think you're so high and mighty and you can just say and you want to a poor woman?
No. That's a pity play, which isn't going to work on me. Just fuck off and die, you unenviable, burst-arsed spastic. You thought I should just let you win the competition only you were in, right? You miscalculated, right? You expected there to be no consequence for your premeditated campaign against me. You're a horrible, horrible beast, yeah?
You are a shite violinist.
Once again, you're pretending you're an authority, making definitive statements as the arbiter of reality. Yeah, you're an imbecile who is even more shite than some of the psychopaths around here who just want to get up and rub off on you, you know, and try and, you know, suck energy out of you. You're all lunatics. I repeat, you lack the mental equipment to exist in reality, and the phenomenon is, if I choose to react, which you're hoping I do, you've calculated I'll suppress my right to swing away at you. And if I suppress my right, then I suffer stress because of nerve damage, and then you can delude yourself as you ejaculate that you're an energy vampire. It makes you feel better about being shite. You're shite. You're talentless, you're ugly, you're as fat as fuck, you're as thick as shite, and you're a mental handicap. It's just you're able to be more mobile than people who are lower functioning than you.
You are what I am. You fucking horrible, horrible shite violinist. Your violin sounds like shite. Your trousers are covered in shite. You're shite. Shite in the violin. Your choice of music was shite. You look shite. Everything about you shite. Your guitar, whatever you want to call it, is shite.
First of all, it was a violin, you know, and once again, you're pretending I am what you are. You're just an incontinent imbecile who believes you're giving me your shite. Your shite. Yeah, I don't have to pretend I am what you are when, no matter what you say or do, it never leaves the circumference of your fucking skull. You're jealous of me, you stupid cow. Existentially jealous of me. You're a fucking lunatic. You were hoping to come up here and ejaculate in public. You're a fucking filthy beast. Yeah?
You're just whatever I fucking make up as I go along.
Oh, fuck it. Banjo! And with that, Stradivarius crowns her with his violin correctly. Then takes the handle and thrusts it into her jugular vein.
This proves it. This is it all gone proven. This is it pretend proven. I've pretend concluded. This is it all gone pretend proven. You are what I am, it's been proven.
An usher walks up and says, Mr. Stradivarius, your performance tonight was phenomenal. I'm so sorry you had to witness that lunatic. What we're going to do is drag her out into the gutter with the rest of the trash, and you know, just, if you wouldn't mind, if I take the handle out of her neck and you clean it up and give you all the pieces. You are a violin maker. You should be able to put it back together tonight. If I give you some wood glue, could you give us an encore? And everybody in the Albert Hall erupts in joy, applauding this phenomenal idea, appreciating, hoping the Stradivarius can put this violin back together and give a final performance. Lying on the floor, the burst-arsed cow looks up and says, "But I'm a martyr. I've become a martyr. Everybody has to attack him because I'm a martyr. I'm female, so therefore, when somebody attacks me, you must attack them. Kill him. Kill him." She's dragged out into the gutter and just placed on top of a tramp, really, who then turns her over, mounts her, and rapes her as she's dying, and throws up on her face while she's taking her last breath. So, meanwhile, Stradivarius, everybody's going for a complimentary drink, puts it all together and puts on an even greater performance in his encore to rapturous applause. And then he makes good his escape, right? On his way home that night, he gets to the spot where he left Worel, and he looks, and there silhouetted on the hill is Worzel's headless body, still looking for its head. And he notices that Worel has managed to roll about the field a little bit, but his face has come to rest in a cowshed. And Worel notices Anthony and cries out to him,
"Help me, please. Help me, please."
Anthony simply says, "No, Worel, I won't."
You must. You can't call yourself a Christian man and just leave me here in the field, without my body.
I can, Worel, I can, because we both know you would simply repeat the exact same pattern if I repatriated your bad head with your body, and so I'm not going to do that.
That proves it. That proves you're a bad man. Gone official and everything. Has it gone proven?
You're pretending to be the arbiter of reality. Again, Worel, even when you're a, severed head lying face down in a cowshed, you've no self-awareness, mate, So I'm going to leave you to it.
Oh, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. Oh, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you.
Worel, here's the thing, right? You have no justification or alibi of any kind for hating your fantasy of me. What it is jealousy. When shite like you feel jealousy, it gives you your pretend excuse. Eventually you'll find your pretend excuse to feel hatred, which is true self-loathing. You hate your true self. You refuse to blame yourself for where you find yourself. First in a ditch, right? Then in a ditch, and now a severed head in a field face down in a cowshed, right? Reduced from having a stick up your arse, working as a scarecrow for a living, for a reason. And we can see the reason now, because you're now a severed head in a cowpat with your, headless, soon-to-be corpse looking for its owner, who's a bad person, a shite character, like calls to like, And so, in a nutshell, it's really quite simple. Absolutely everything since the dawn of creation had to be precisely as it was. For billions and billions of years, everything had to take place exactly as it did in order for that tiny, tiny stone to be precisely where it was. That you wobbled on and then slid down that ditch because of it. Do you think that's coincidence, Worel? And with that, he leaves Worel. to do fuck all. So that's what Worel is. And with that, Antonio makes his way home, right? And enjoys, you know, all the, you know, press clippings, you know, of him getting this rapturous reception and these good critiques from whoever. And, you know, about 6 months goes by and, you know, he's been dating, you know, he's been having, you know, whatever. He's been enjoying himself and he's ready. He's built another violin that time to put on another performance. Meanwhile, Worel was repatriated with his head, and unfortunately it was the bad head again, and he's sitting on a turnstile when Antonio's new performance, which is going to be in the Shakespeare Theatre, and it's written on a newspaper which a gust of wind carries, and that specific double sheet slaps Worel right in the face. And when he looks at it and sees that Antonio is going to be doing a gig in the Shakespeare Theatre, for the last 6 months, Worel believed Anthony hadn't been doing a gig because of how Worel had treated him. Worel believed for half a year Anthony had been suffering from the brain damage Worel had caused him on that trip, and that's why he'd not done another gig in all that time. So when he looks at the press clipping, he says, right. And that's why you need to execute psychopaths, megalomaniacal psychopaths. Right? That's their intention. That's a great insight into their character, their pathology, and the way they think. You know, truly, the way it's just magical thinking. You know, and they come to believe it. So, right, because I'm becoming a wee tiny bit more popular, which means a tiny bit more hated, I'm going to lay out something that's really important, right? The 10% to start with, right? If you're a soldier, right, why don't you consider yourself to be the 10%, right? 90% of soldiers should be shot in the face, right? Why don't you consider yourself to be in the 10% I'm not talking about? 10% of females are human, provably. 90% of females need shot in the face. Why do you not consider yourself to be in the 10%? Why are you angry about me saying the truth about the 90%? Yeah? Why do you personalise that as though there's an imaginary sorority? Why do soldiers personalise it as though there's this kind of genuine fraternity when it doesn't exist? You know, you look at the vets in America, you know, the ex-veterans. Basically, they're divided and, you know, sitting out in the street and begging and, you know, dying and being preyed on by lunatics, you know. There is no fraternity, it's all shite talk. So I'll give you the quick statistics, right? Be reactionary if you want. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I reflect the truth. That's all I give a fuck about, right? Truth is independent of self. Whatever the truth is, I'll believe it, right? And if it, you know, I get a greater magnification on it and you know, or amplification or what have you, right? Then I'll update my thinking in that regard. I won't pretend and use magical thinking and won't pretend revenge against people because I think something which is bullshit. The main reason this species is becoming extinct is because people are full of shit, right? And they want to attack each other. And it's all bullshit, right? So, 10% of Western females and 10% of Western gay males are provably human. Fact, right? 30% of Western males and 30% of Western lesbians are provably human. Fact, right? 90% of females break down into this. 66% are megalomaniacal psychopaths. The remaining 24% are narcissistic psychopaths. For example, when I say 66 and 24, you could bet your bottom dollar they're adding them together and hoping I haven't come to 90. And the point is, the same applies to the homosexual community. Community. Right. So with gay guys, right, 2/3 of them are megalomaniacal, and 90% of them are genuinely paedophiles. And so an additional 24% are narcissistic psychopaths. They're all really, really shite people. As I've said, it leaves 10% of females and 10% of gays human. Right now, across the divide, you know, basically the divide, good game. The point is, you have 70% of males. The first third to 40% really are, you know, paedophiles, and the remaining 30% are narcissistic psychopaths. These are megalomaniacal beasts, and these are utterly self-deluded garbage, and they're all sex offenders. 90% of females and gays are a fucking disgrace. They could never, ever say what they truly are in front of children, in front of a class of kids, right? You could never say what you truly are. I can. Yeah, I can stand in front of a primary concentration campus of children. I can shout from the fucking rooftops, from the mountain tops, what I truly am, what I'm all about, what my intention at heart is, my overarching range of moral aims. You couldn't stand in front of kids and say what you truly are. If you're in that 90% column, that 90% of both those columns, yeah, a scum-sucking reptile, a lunatic, wanting pretend revenge against the men, right? You couldn't tell children that you're a hate-consumed sex offender, a fucking lunatic who gets off on pulling faces at men, hoping to offend men. Yeah, you're groomed by Zionist fucking paedophiles on a hill who run the media and constantly bombard you to hate men. You're thankless garbage. Yeah, men invent everything, build everything, deliver it, maintain it, and fucking repair it, and you do fuck all.
We have the babies. We have the babies.
They don't have the fucking babies, and it's a fucking personal choice that they benefit from, quite literally, benefit from, yeah? If they choose to have their own child for their own fucking benefits, yeah? How the fuck is that a contribution to me in any way, shape or form? It's a fucking liability, especially listening to these Zionist spastics in the fucking bottom of that tar pit trap who encourage them to be inconsolable, right? And after, unobtainium.
I want unobtainium. I'm inconsolable. I've burst my ass. Somebody else's fault. Somebody else's fault. Bad boy didn't run away.
No wonder he fucking ran away. Right, here's the thing, right? 90% of females should be drowned and burned. That's what your fucking ancestors did with them. Jesus, whose real name was Yeshua, yeah? You think you are Jesus? No, I don't.
Yes, you are.
Cutting edge comedy there for you, right? Yeshua of Nazareth, right? He said, shun the homosexual. Why would a man who's renowned for his Christ-like compassion, love, his beauty, everything about him that was fantastic, why would he say, shun the homosexual? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Right? He had a very, very good reason, didn't he? They stood out a mile in those times, right? You know? Right? Basically, 90% of gay males are grossly mentally handicapped. Right? 90% of females are identical. They have an identical brain. Look at their brain scans. You'll find they're fucking identical. Likewise, the 10% of gays and females who are human have identical brains. And I really actually feel sorry for the 10% of males who are gay, because it's just like their plight, man. They're preyed on by these Zionist spastics to be deluded into thinking that they're gay, but they actually have a female brain and a male body and should be looking for the lesbian equivalent. But there's 300% by comparison, because 30% of lesbians are human who have a male brain and a female body, yeah? And so they should be getting together and reversing the evolutionary cul-de-sac they find themselves in, which these Zionist pieces of garbage want them to be. They want them to die out. They want them to die alone. They don't want them to pass on their genes. You know, they're obsessed with genociding you, right? And they've been working towards it for 1,300 years. Pretty determined, you know, pretty determined that. And so, basically, you know, and so you could say that lesbians have it worse, or heterosexual men, human men, the 30% have it worse, because they've only got 10% to choose from, you know. However, like I say, these Zionist pieces of shit want to dreadfully raise us so badly we can't overcome it. And the facts speak for themselves. Even the paedophile massaged figures speak for themselves, right? And I'll be covering them. So what I'm pointing out is, why don't lesbians consider themselves being the 30% who I'm saying are human? Why do they include this 70% of traitors, these fucking scumbags who are preying on them, when they should be going with these guys over here, you know? And obviously it leaves 20% who can't, but nonetheless, why is it 10% of females who are human don't think to themselves, well, I have met an enormous amount of females who are scumbags, yeah? Who can be relied upon. The only contribution, liability, they think they're making is by reducing the number of children in the next generation to one, you know? So 2 people into 1. She abuses him psychologically because these Zionist imbeciles have groomed her to delude herself she's to get unobtainium and that she's entitled to be inconsolable. And he's groomed, and she knows he's groomed, to not be able to see the real her. Yeah, see her as she truly is, right? Even the 10% are badly raised. I was badly raised, and I'm a living Christ. However, in this video, I'm going to give you the solutions. Hold on till I pull me strides though. That proves it. So the thing is this, right? You know, males have to see what females truly are, and you have to separate yourself from these beasts, and that's what they are. 2 out of every 3 so-called adult females is a beast that's learned to talk shit, right? When you check its brain scan out, it lacks the componentry required to be human, right? What are they? A monkey that's learned to talk shit to try and get its way, right? And that's it, you know. And because it looks human, it's conning our species. So it's just a virus, really, that gets in by looking like humans. But it's a replicant, really, within which is a simian sex offender. And they behave very like Worel and the tramp at the Albert Hall did towards Stradivarius. And what I'm pointing out to you is they are sex offenders. They go on like that. And when you see it in person, you can never, ever, ever, ever forget or be conned out of knowing that that's the case, you know. So I'm not trying to convince you of anything, right? If you're in the 10%, 10%, 30%, 30%, I have nothing but the greatest of, you know, like enthusiasm and hope for you and endeavour towards you. You've no idea what I've overcome to be able to make this video, and you've no idea how oppressed my output is by that shite. And I'll start with that, right? If you had my gifts, right, then you would be entitled to be arrogant. I'm not. You'd be entitled to lack humility. I don't. You'd be entitled to be narcissistic. I know I'm not, right? So if you had 1% of my gifts, and not including the gifts I receive from the divine, via the moral law of the universe, I discovered. It's quite important. Have you discovered any laws? Well, let's just go through a list, right? It's really quite important, right? Prick up your ears if you believe you deserve unobtainium, right? And that you're somewhat inconsolable, and you've yet to find what you deserve, and you're not getting what you deserve and all that. I'm going to list my gifts, right? List my gifts, and then I want you to compare your gifts with my gifts, right? And let's just reprise one last moment this contribution females make to society, which is basically to be a whole sales rep, who comes with less than nothing, and whose contribution is a liability, producing less than the number that exists in this generation to one, and the vast majority of them have it pulled out of their vagina by a paedophile, crushed in front of them and thrown into a fucking bin. Yeah. So the only thing their contribution is compared to men's, building everything, inventing everything, delivering everything, maintaining everything, repairing everything for her, which she's fully cognizant of. She's the whole sales rep who wants better terms, right? She wants to groom you into, in 90% of cases, excuse yourself if you're not in that 90%. I'm sure you will, even if you are. And what I'm pointing out is the only thing that she could be good for, she has it crushed and thrown in a bin in front of her. Right? And the only other thing she could be good for is cooking. And rebel without a cause, a reactionary rather than a decision of self, easily Zionist programmed, always programmed by the wrong people who are killing her. She decides to basically never learn to cook, so her children are then fed Zionist infected gruel from a fucking box with wrapping paper and plastic which has got shite in it, which destroys her children. She can be relied upon to be that imbecile. She gets what she deserves, and she takes the pill, which is Zionist infected, and she also goes along with everything they say, even like mammograms, where a lunatic gets to squeeze your tits painfully and irradiate them, which actually increases instances of cancer. And all these other things that they give females, subject them to, who they go along with, always go along with the Zionist Jew. Yeah, they've got your best intentions at heart. They've got good intentions at heart. You know, they really care about you. And you know, they're not really giving you things to give you cysts and cervical cancer and breast cancer and fuck up your brain. You know, they're not really trying to do that to you. They're not trying to get you to lead an unhealthy lifestyle which none of your ancestors lived. Yeah, they're not trying to separate you from your other half, because no matter, even if you're a psychopath, the male will have the missing components of your brain, and you'll have the missing components of his brain. Whereas I'm a living Christ, and I've got it all. Oh, so yeah, here's the thing, right? And I list my gifts, right? I played the violin when I was 7, bit of a musical pull towards that, you know, and I still have that violin. And so I play the guitar to quite a remarkably high standard, if you want to call it that. I'm really proficient and prolific songwriter, and I think I can touch people, move people with my songs, which I'm releasing very soon. More of my new album called The Bomb, and you don't have to pronounce it like that, but it helps. And the thing is, I'm also a phenomenal piano player, if I do say so myself, just telling the truth. For example, you may listen to Chopin Opus 66, and I can play that right through. So although I play it a tiny bit slower and a bit more heavily than Chopin would have played it, who was lighter fingered and faster, and I can play it at that speed. I prefer it to be a little bit more slowed down and a bit heavier, and a bit more depth into it. He liked Beethoven for Beethoven's depth. For example, you can hear it in Moonlight Sonata, Clara de Luna, whatever it's called. So so that there's some gifts, you know, musically. I can write, I can compose music as well as write songs, and I'm, you know, quite a good singer, to say the least, if I do say so myself, you know. Obviously, I know I incur the wrath of narcissists hypocritically if I tell the truth about myself. So, right, that's just the musical side of things. I'm also a novelist, a prolific writer. I have a great deal of depth to what I'm magnifying and amplifying and selflessly putting out there. Right? I also have practical cures that I've invented, quite miraculous cures into the bargain. I also create, have inventions that I've produced, which I'll be revealing very shortly, which should really help the entire world overcome what these Zionist reptiles are presently doing to you. I could go on a great deal about these things. It's just, I have a staggering insight into the beasts that I share a planet with who pretend to be human. And once again, I have solutions for all these problems. They're really quite straightforward. I have an ability to, start businesses and make them very successful in a very short period of time. And what I've done is I've saved countless children's lives going back over 20 years who have written to me and thanked me needlessly. I also run a farm and have property all over the world, basically I'm going from strength to strength and all these different just have an overarching range of moral aims, and this allows me to keep on going. And my number one mission is to try and save as many kids from needless excruciating agony as possible, also to propel what could be construed as a parallel output, because obviously I'm not unaware that it seems a bit ridiculous, to be writing a song and putting it out when they're genociding us. So I have to balance these things across the board, so it somewhat slows me down. Nonetheless, I just keep on going. So there are loads and loads and loads of things that I could call strings to my bow, and I could list them all, one after the other. I would just like you to reconsider, have you ever written a revolutionary novel? Have you ever written a great song? Have you ever produced a miracle cure? Have you ever invented something which could, revolutionise the world as we know it? Have you saved, for example, a village in Africa or India from needless excruciating agony? Are you a remarkable musician or songwriter? Do you tick any of those boxes? Have you a staggering insight into criminology which shows you the psychology and pathology of devils besetting the species, after which you're able to provide the solutions? Are you able to channel miracles? I am, provably. Did you discover a law? I discovered a law. Newton discovered gravity. It was already there. It's just it was invisible, so he didn't know it existed until he went, "Here, I think there's a reason. Every time I jump off the roof, I hurt my arse." And that was it. Discovered. So it's really simple. The intention in your heart is returned. It's as simple as that. So if you've got good intention, at the pace that you do good in the world, it's returned undeniably. And if you're a bad person, slowly but surely, oh man, it's returned and it's all around you. And I worked out it weights you down. And look at the work of Charles Dickens, another revolutionary writer. He pointed out Jacob Marley is weighted down by the chains of his sins, really. And I worked out myself this, and then I recognised the parallel, and I'd recognised it previously, but it hadn't carried as much weight with me until I thought, yeah, because every single person I've studied who's a psychopath, like, I can tell the weight of them. The heavier they are, the badder a person they are, and the worse that they've done in life. And so every time that I reach a fork in a road to go up one, you know, I take off that wheel to make this journey more easy, and it's going to be tougher, so to make it just doable. And I always find at that exact moment a wheel that a previous person I've got great respect for has left there, or at least a quote that's attributable to that person. And I found when I was looking for just the history of Yeshua, just a couple of things I wanted to double check, and I found this quote, right, which was that whenever he felt he was punished by meeting the likes of Wurzel Gummidge and the tramp at the Albert Hall, he was grateful, because it helped him see that there's a moral law. I didn't know he'd come to the same conclusion. I didn't know Martin Luther King had come to a similar conclusion. It's something that's so hard to say you believe is true because it's fucking invisible. And if you don't have a prefrontal cortex, right, or you have limited moral fibre there, then you can't believe it's true because you don't have a moral perception of reality, a moral guide. You know right from wrong, but morality is beyond your comprehension. So every single serial killer I've studied, without exception, was so insane, they wanted to covertly con me into being immoral, to pretend prove morality doesn't exist. Every one of them, female, male, every country, all age groups, every paedophile division they want you in, every demographic, right? Every one of them wanted to pretend or get me to accidentally or to fall for admitting something which isn't true, so that they could then pretend that morality doesn't exist. They'd pretend proving it away. You know, they're lunatics, right? Fact. They're morally insane. They're moral imbeciles, right? And they may well have a different perspective on life, but it's grossly mentally handicapped. You know, a dog has got gaps in its perception, right? It isn't, you know, a full, well-rounded intellect. It is what it is. It does what it can, and it's, you know, evolved to that extent to do that. However, there are loads of things it can't do because it's missing this capacity, these perceptions and so on and so forth. However, in many cases, dogs genuinely, provably, are more human than so-called humans. And so, I'm pointing out that there's a moral law, and I discovered it. And you have to believe in it. If you don't believe in it, you're your own worst enemy. So, look at that list, and that's me genuinely being modest. There's so many more things I could say about myself, right? You know, just I'm just going to draw a line there, right? So, look at that list. Do you tick any of those things? Can you tick any of those boxes and say, yeah, I'm a great singer, I'm a fucking, you know, whatever, you know? The answer is probably no. Yeah, and if you can tick one, it's one. I tick them all. You know, but, you know, I genuinely lack arrogance. You know, like Van Gogh, he wasn't interpersonally a great guy to get along with. However, he knew the right thing to do is to distance himself, and he didn't sell a painting during his own lifetime by choice. You know, and that was the life that I wanted to start with, and then, you know, I just wanted to like be on, like, if there's A-list, you know, at most D-list, you know, I didn't think I could stand many more than that, you know, and then in the end, what propelled me more was just starving darkies. I'm quite good that way, me, really. You know, and so that's just that list, right? So here's another list, and I want to know if you tick any of these boxes as well. Simple. I never make things easy on people, right? You know, and nor should you, because, you know, like I say, Van Gogh, when he was painting in that field, you know, there's people, you know, like around the place, you know, and they didn't have a clue what was taking place in that field was history and art. You know, they didn't realise the importance of it. And then a couple of fat homosexual psychopaths went into the field and just shot him for sexual pleasure. You know, they were pretending his retaliation predated their instigation. You know, so a couple of wurzels. And he then crawled back to his cottage and died there. And some people say so as not to shame them. I just think he wanted to die in the cottage in peace. You know, he couldn't get peace in this life. And it's a shame. And in Erol On PTSD, I'm going to try and help people find peace. Stu, I'm going to give you the second list and see if you tick any of these things. Right? If your father, right, left your mother and had another family, right, and his firstborn son was Brad Pitt, would you tell anybody that your half-brother is Brad Pitt? You have the same father. Would you? If I told you that my half-brother was Brad Pitt, why would I go up in your estimations? It's the kind of thing I wouldn't tell people. I don't want to make it easy in any way, shape or form. My half-brother's not Brad Pitt. Right? What if your half-sister was Beyonce? Would you tell people? Isn't it sad you would go up in their estimations if you did? Yeah? Yeah, so you've got the same father, you know, he's dating a black woman and they have Beyonce and she's your half-sister, right? If you tell people, isn't it sad that you'd go up in their estimations? My half-sister's not Beyonce. However, she's as famous as Beyonce. Yeah. I never mention it. Ever. You're mentioning it now. If I don't tell you who she is, you would never find out. However, she's genuinely, provably, as famous as Beyonce. And I would say more talented. That's just one, right? I also have a cousin who, once again, never mention them, and his wife as well, never mention her. They are really well known. She's remarkably well known, I would say, in the comedy field. You know, I haven't seen her for a long time, but I know she must still be up there. I haven't seen anything for a long time. I don't watch television or that. The last time I ever watched television, she was on it that year, you know, several times in big comedy shows. But I never ever mention her. I don't feel I have any right to mention her or him. You know, he's been in a comedy show as well. Although admittedly, watching him is the exact same as me going into my forest that I own and watching a tree grow. No offence, and so maybe it's best I don't mention him. So, if you had a cousin and his wife who were that well known, would you mention them? Wouldn't it be sad if you went up in people's estimations and they went, "What? That's his cousin and that's his cousin's wife"? Isn't it sad? You know, his sister's as famous as Beyonce, and I never mention them. Also, you know, my old man, you know, Beyonce's dad, he contacted me recently, over the course, right? And I went a different direction in life because he's, you know, the truth is my father, you know, solid underfoot, matches in my pocket. And the thing is, you know, so I'm glad I didn't have him as a father, because he pursued money instead of becoming a father, and he's paying the ultimate price now. He's hollow. Yeah? And he put in an appearance and he was wanting me to call him Daddy, right? Genuinely. And if I don't call him Daddy, that's his excuse, right? To then pretend I am what he is, and then he's not going to hell. Satan's conned that easily. Yeah, God's conned that easily as well, more importantly. You know, basically, I rumbled him and exposed him, and people were using it behind the scenes and in front of the scenes to basically say whatever shite they could think of to him. And half of them were thinking they were masterminds, getting away with talking shite, as though that was like something they were having a go at me through. You know, it's just the magical thinking of imbeciles. However, I used it to have a go at him, and to hammer him, and to expose him, and my so-called mother. However, what he'd said in preface to that, several weeks earlier, where I hammered him, privately, and he was a fucking disgrace, man. He essentially offered me lots of money if I would call him daddy. So let's just say, like, he goes around the world buying racehorses, and I've not seen this guy since I was a kid, and I saw him twice. I saw him when I was 7, and I saw him when I was 11, and that was it. 2 days in my entire life, and when he meets me in my 40s online, he wants me to call him daddy. I told him, see, if I fucking meet you in person, I'm going to shoot you in the face. Yeah. So maybe not the reaction he was looking for, but it wasn't a reaction, it was just a promise. And so, would you, if a millionaire whose daughter's as famous as Beyonce contacted you and said, just say this word and I'll give you hundreds of thousands? Would you? I didn't, you know. I'm a self-made man. My father's the truth, you know. And I believe in the moral law of the universe. And I saw into him and I exposed him and hammered him. Yeah. So, I could go on. How about this, right? People who you would be amazed at, right? Who are really, really remarkably well known for it. I can't name them, right? Because if I name them, then the prostitutes would attack them. Suffice to say, there was one woman who's widely known across the majority of America, and I wrote to her as a social experiment, didn't expect any reaction, but she actually wrote back and then said to me she wanted to keep in touch and all. So that was hurdle 1 in my social experiment, and anybody knows me knows I'll give her another hurdle, and the toughest one, and gave her my thesis on Zionist Jews. She didn't write back, you know. So let me put it to you this way, give you the equivalent. Imagine you write to Kate Perry as a social experiment. She writes back and says, this is what I believe, I appreciate every word you're saying, I totally agree with you, and listen, I want us to keep chatting away here, I'm right into this, you know. Would you then give her a giant hurdle to overcome about the history of Zionist Jews, referring to them as Pharaoh's fuck toys, you know, mummy's favourites? Sad thing is, they had tormented her, imprisoned her, and she still was maybe worried that I was a plant or something like that. She'd have to be mad to think that. Anyway, so she didn't reply to that one. Shame on her. So then another guy who is reasonably well known, not maybe as much as her, or maybe in some cases more than her. Either way, most people would know who he was in America, for example. And I didn't even know who the fuck he was, but he was chatting away to me because he was worried that I genuinely am a living Christ, and he would then stop making money. So Cheryl contacted him a while ago and said, remember you were talking to Erol? Erol didn't have a fucking clue who you were. You know, basically, you know, because you're predominantly famous in America. And he didn't reply to her, because now he's gone special. And I noticed they go special after they go on a certain show, right? A show that I call, well, the host of the show I call Sparrow. Yeah, Sparrow, right? I call him Sparrow because Sparrow watches what I do, right? And then copies what I'm saying and doesn't ever credit me with it. Yeah? Not very moral, is it, Sparrow? Yeah? Quite megalomaniacal, Sparrow. I'm the eagle, you're the fucking sparrow. Yeah? I'm the courageous living Christ whose countless bodies of evidence to substantiate all the things I've done, yeah, to expose rings of beasts murdering our species, all focused imbecilically in on each other until they're snout to snout, and then and only then will they look to the hill and the Zionist Jew just goes, hee. They're that evil, they're that titillating and disgusting, immoral, morally insane sex offender, lunatic, monkeys. So monkeys want to kill humans, and they're so stupid, obviously, they're genociding themselves. I'm going to provide the solutions in this video. So, in a nutcake, so if this male had contacted you, right, and, you know, would you not tell people at least, oh, here, this guy who to give you the fame of the female, for example, I'm trying to think, like, once again, she's probably as well known as, like, Sally Fields, the female actress. And he was the male equivalent, you know, that, like Burt Reynolds, you know. And so, yeah, I never tell anybody, I never reveal their names, nor should I, you know. And several people of that calibre, should you say, have contacted me, and I always do the exact same thing, and nobody's overcome the second hurdle, man. And once they go and meet the sparrow, it's incommunicado after that, yeah? Because the sparrow is a plant. And I'm going to expose sparrow again. So, there's another thing for your list. Are you being plagiarised by the organised resistance? Yeah, run by Zionist Jews, unsurprisingly. Otherwise they've been shot in the head, yeah? Look at how courageous I am, yeah? I'm out telling the truth, and I'm not funded by Jews, and that's another one for your list, and it's probably quite an important one. I was contacted when I started putting my videos out on YouTube. Basically, once again, if you're Jewish, consider yourself to be in the same demographic I mentioned earlier. Yeah, at this moment in time, although, you know, yeah, like the difference between a Jew and a Muslim is quite limited. It's just like 50% difference, really. You know, Zionist Jews want everybody dead who's not them. Muslims want you dead if you don't convert. That's the difference, really. And Christians just basically are rotten to the core. They're all bogus. Just look at the brain. The brain's the most important thing. It shows you what stage of evolution you are at and what perception of reality you can have as a result of it. So, this Zionist Jew contacted me, right? And it's when I recognised, you know, like the Star of David. I didn't make the connection until this smear of shite basically went, we can make you a star. Ting! I recognised, I got it, right? That star, right? Star of David. And only thing he wanted me to do was stop telling the truth, or stop telling specific truths, and by all means be outrageous or whatever, and then I would be made a star, right? And so you can imagine the air turning blue on that one. And since then, all my output has been, you know, like ruthlessly oppressed. And I should have found it, you know. Whenever I put my stuff out on a new website, it naturally goes, all these videos out. You know, Cheryl's got this programme where I'd be sitting there going, boop, boop, think of starving darkies, boop, starving darkies, boop, Pamela Anderson, boop, boop, starving darkies, boop, boop. You know, and, you know, a year later, boop. Whereas she has a thing which... when the screen changes, it then does the boop for you. So you don't have to keep coming back, and it just automates it. So, which is the right emphasis on the syllable I was looking for there. So, if a Zionist Jew offered to make you a fucking star, and all you had to do was just don't tell those truths, and just be exactly the same with what you've already recorded of your music or whatever it might be, would you take it? So get it right up you fucking pharaoh fuck toy, which went down really well. So when like my new videos or whatever go up on any website, they start going, and then maybe they're shite, and so you know, they wouldn't climb so quickly if they were shite, you know, and it's just like truth. And that's in the Zionist Jews' teachings, where they say that basically no matter how good a person they are, yeah, no matter what, we must murder them, assassinate them. And that's a word I actually got from the female whose name I'll not mention. Because I was talking about, you know, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King to her, and I'd said they'd been murdered, and the kind of autistic thinking that females have can sometimes be useful, because she said assassinate. So it's quite handy having that magnification there. And so it's very, very true, you know. So the more goodly you are, the more intrinsically good you are, the more of an enemy you are to the intrinsically evil, whose ambition for 1,300 years is to kill you. Right? 1,300 years. Right? They're not going to stop. You know, great-great-grandpappy wanted me to kill you. So, in a nutshell, so would you knock back what you would class as stardom? Would you not declare your half-sister's Beyonce? Would you not list all these things? If you had all these strings to your bow, if somebody's offering you hundreds of thousands, would you not take these things? These are the temptations of the devil! Yeah. I don't give a fuck about money. I don't give a fuck about so-called fame. All I give a fuck about is the truth. Morality, conscience, saving children from needless, excruciating agony! You fucking cowardly retards! Every fucking day! It means nothing to you, you imbecile! There's no need for him to shout. Every day! Every day! Every fucking day! Every second of every day! If I murdered a child in front of you right now, how would you feel? How would you react? What would you think? You stupid cunt! 20 fucking years! I've been tirelessly working like fuck to save children from needless excruciating agony, and all the while these spastics are behind killing them by choice, on purpose, and the companies I'm giving the money to are sponging off it, taking it for themselves, holding certain villages hostage. When you look at a fucking pack of tomatoes and hate Britain, why are they not from Britain? Why are they from Malta, Spain, out of fucking Gibraltar? Why the fuck are they not from Britain? Tomatoes from Britain, vegetables from Britain, are sent out to Africa to undercut the poor farmer so his arse collapses. Right? He can't sell his own produce cheaper than British fare, which is flown out at your expense to undercut and keep these people in a state, right, they want to keep them in. It's crush a mole, not whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole's for people like me. Whack-a-mole's for people who are living Christs, who believe in the moral law of the universe, which, like gravity, is invisible. But once again, try throwing your arse off a roof and see how you go. And I repeat, I came to the exact same conclusion that Yeshua of Nazareth came to. When you meet people who are like the tramp in the Albert Hall, when you meet people who are like Worel, it's because, and this is I'm extracting this from what Yeshua said. He said, they are rejecting their blame. Yeah? They're rejecting being to blame for the punishment of their sins against others. And the refusal to accept the blame is why they never progress. And this takes me to a really, really important point, right? The dorsolateral section of your brain is an enormous gift from your ancestors. All their combined success stories, love stories, dreams of you. You must have had dreams for your future children, you know, or your existing children, and maybe their children. You may have thought, if I do this, this will build a legacy and I can pass that on to my family. Zionist Jews' legacy is to exterminate the species, excluding themselves. So, what is the dorsolateral section? I'll tell you. It develops up until you're 40, right? So, right, when you are 40, that's pretty much, you're fucked. So these Zionist spastics target children very, very early, put them in an environment where they have a kind of increasing level of ambient abuse from the cradle right through the grave. And so you ingrain a defence mechanism which over time becomes an offence mechanism, which over time degenerates into a sex offender.
where imbeciles like that, their idea of intelligence is being offensive, and behind which they've pathologically ingrained a hollow where a soul should be, and a wafer-thin, narrow mind that goes nowhere. And if you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't develop it, of course. And in a nutcake, right? The dorsolateral section of your brain's the last to develop. It's the greatest gift from your ancestors, right? And you've got your depth from your ancestors, your urges that you'll have are from your ancestors, your instincts, so to speak. However, your ability to control those urges and to think and rise above them and overcome are dependent upon your prefrontal cortex and your dorsolateral section, which you still ingrain until you're 40. But if you don't know about the moral law of the universe, if you've ingrained a stupid, rigid pathology that you can overcome and understand, being non-reactionary in this day and age with what you're subject to is wrong. However, me and Yeshua and Martin Luther King had to go through this, and Gandhi, because when you get to that fork in the road I mentioned and you change your wheel, yeah, you get a bit more grip on this particular fucking climb, I tell you. And that's why Jesus got a fucking grip on a bullwhip, went in and started fucking whipping fuck out of Pharisees who make up shite so they can abuse you through usury. Yeah, usury. How's it working out for you? Fucking bankers, yeah, fucking at this moment in time, they're dropping like flies. Oh, I wonder why. And so, how's it working out for me? Well, at this moment in time, I am being inundated with gifts, the like of which would blow your mind if you received one of them. Yeah. However, I'm still going at a modest pace. I want to up that more and more and more. You know, to me, a gift was today. I went out onto the promised land and my farm, and you know, I sat out there with bugger lugs, and the sun was setting, and it took a real long time to set, and it's like it goes into your atoms and separates them. And you feel like you're glowing. You could be in a Ready Brick advert. You know, when you kind of float back to the villa, you know, and then you're ready to rock. So, quite literally, and I wrote an updated and wrote a second part to a song that I think is going to be really quite popular until it's... And so, spread the word for fuck's sake, you know, tell people, offer them a service. Not that kind of service. And, you know, say to them, hey, I'll give you this free service if you watch this and tell me what you think about it. And if they don't hit you over the head with a hammer, give them a free service, whatever it is you're providing. And let them know there's a living Christ and he has the solutions. And one of the most important aspects I can tell you about, like I say, is your dorsolateral section of your brain. Man, if you don't develop it, that's why you don't care. They've programmed you to not care. Right? And you think it's a choice not to care. I don't care. You know, no, it's a failure to develop the front of your brain, which they put you into a primary concentration campus to crush out of you and ingrain instead an offence, an offensive pathology, really. It's a wafer thin, narrow, you know, pathology. And it ensures that you're going to be an agent of self-destruction amongst others. And if I'm right, the facts should substantiate it. And when a female gets into her 30s, she's now 80% more likely to become morbidly obese, alcoholic, and take all the fucking shite medicine for her nerves, but she's groomed to believe she's going to be the next Zsa Zsa Gabor, right? But she doesn't tick any of the fucking boxes that I tick. What does she base her narcissistic delusions on? She's no talent. She's no great looker. She's not related to Beyonce. Yeah? She's got nothing that you can shake a stick at. Nothing other than her state-groomed narcissism or delusions of grandeur, which is always prefaced with the phrase, suffers from. And when they suffer from it, just like Yeshua noticed, like I've noticed, they want to try and punish other people. Like Worel, like the tramp. Yeah? They want to try to punish other people because they feel bad that they're a lying cunt who won't stop lying to themselves about themselves being something they're not. Yeah.
I still don't think I need to shout.
Shut up, bitch! The point is this, right? My gut agrees. So, Yeshua said it was a gift. Anytime he's been punished was a gift. You know, a dark gem, really tough, heavy gem. You magnify it and it makes you realise, oh yeah, I'm still on the right road. Fuck becoming that. And that's the simple fact. The dorsolateral section of your brain allows you to overcome. If you don't overcome, you become. And it's just bullshitting yourself. You know, they're fucking, oh man, it's just a shite person to become. So, you look at those stats again, those facts, even the paedophile massage figures show a phenomenal increase in females killing themselves after all the lies in public. They're left alone in the dark and their denial is just that. And they can't deny it anymore. They do themselves in. And the number one target is males, and thousands of them, thousands and thousands of them every year kill themselves every night without exception off every major bridge in horrible, grotesque ways, right? And it's because there's no love for them. These females are taught to hate these men, then these females are left alone and kill themselves. These men go and kill themselves in brutal ways, and it produces fatherless children. Only 1 out of 2, yeah? Unless they're crushed and put in a bin first. So it's working, these Zionist Jews, by stopping you from developing the dorsolateral section of your brain, stop you from being able to overcome your own dishonesty. Yeah, allow you to develop your true self. Yeah, and I'll say this about every single person I've met, even the most shite motherfucker, right? Every single person without exception has something good they can offer. And if they channeled through that and did good by those who deserve it, I fucking assure you, right? Your accomplishments will be rewarded at pace instead of slowly receiving that return and being hollowed out, yet your soul becoming laden with chains, the weight of which will drag you down to your own personal hell. And the heavier you are, the further you go, you know. And the further you are from the warmth of God, you know, the colder it will be for eternity. You can delude yourself that you're the arbiter of reality, you know, that you decide whether hell exists or not. I fucking assure you. Why would there be a moral law to the universe? Why? Yeah, it's like if gravity didn't exist, we would just, you know, fly into the fucking air after our pants, you know, in different directions. The point is, why does the moral law exist? If there's no God, why would God invent a fucking moral law? Right? The answer's in the question there. And so, you have to believe in it, right? And channel it, and I assure you, I'm living proof. Because in the coming videos, I'll let you know what I exposed myself to. Not to totally test it, just because I had to, and that's that. So, where did I get to now? Why? Aye, liars, right? Liars start to believe their own lies, right? That's the problem, right? And I did it when I was 7, right? And I was coming home, and I told a lie at school, right? Oh man, it was this kid, he was obnoxious as fuck. And he was telling all the other kids, right? My dad's got a new motor, my dad's got a new motor, right? And all the other kids were saying, oh, my dad's got an old motor. And so, but he was kind of rubbing their noses in it, right? So I was stood up for, against bullies at primary concentration campus. I despised it correctly. And the thing is this, I said to him, oh, my dad's got a new motor, right? Me without a dad, right? But to kind of put him in his place, so I had good intentions at heart. And this is really important. Lie like fuck. The most honest man on earth is telling you, lie like fuck. If you're dealing with somebody who's immoral, lie like fuck. You know, because what I would prefer you do is smash their face to the back of their fucking skull. Yeah? What do you think they would prefer? Yeah. So lying is quite a poor comparison, isn't it? Really, you should be doing that. Instead, you say, "Oh, my dad's got a Rolls Royce. Fucking get it up, you." Right? And that silenced him. But he went on and on, right? After that, saying, "Your dad doesn't have a Rolls Royce." Blah, 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 blah. And I said to him, "Wait for it. My old man has a mint green Rolls Royce." Due to the extent of his questioning, it stopped him preying on those boys. But he then was obviously preying on me. What I should have done was literally just broke his jaw. But the point being, when I was going home that day and I walked up the path towards the house I stayed in, I actually expected to see a green Rolls Royce, and that's never left me. It's never left me. Because I'm such an honest man, a part of my brain unconsciously believed, well, if Erol's saying it, it must be true. And I was walking up that street and I went, oh fuck, I don't have a green Rolls Royce. And here's the punchline. Right? When I was 11, the second visit from my old man, what does he pull up in? A sparkling mint green Rolls Royce. Are you able to do that? I think it was God, like rewarding me for, like, Erol's going to have told a lie here, like, I'm going to make this all right, squeal this man away, ha ha ha, and there's countless witnesses to that happening, especially people in Fine Fair, the car park, where it wasn't made for Rolls Royces, and so the point being, so I recognise from that one lie that when you lie, you start to believe it, and that's the problem. A huge problem. If you haven't developed here, if you've got parts missing here, if you don't have your other half in your life, as they don't want you to have, you start believing your own bullshit, and there's no lengths you won't go to defend it. I repeat though, they're bad people, lie, it doesn't matter a fuck about them. For example, if Fred West or Peter Sutcliffe says to you, can you hold these hammers and still be here when I get back? Aye, Peter, no problem, I'll hold your hammers, I'll still be here when you get back. Cheers, thanks for that, see you later. Right, fuck him. He is a morally insane serial killing rapist and murderer. Right, fuck off with his hammers, lie to the cunt, right? You've got good intentions at heart, it's the only thing that matters. Lie, it doesn't matter. If you've got bad intention, whatever the fuck you do, don't lie. Because I worked out, discovered, the moral law of the universe is at its most honed by way of punishment if you deceive in order to offend someone unjustly, immorally, So fuck that, don't do that, right? However, like say an angry mob of like football fans who are just after that guy because of the colour of strip he has on. Doesn't mean he's a good guy, just because he's been chased by a mob, he might still be a bad guy, but the point is, if they come round the corner saying, you see where that guy went? Lie. Say, up that street there, see, he went round the corner like on one leg, like he was in the fucking black and white movies. Try and make it convincing. Right? And so, they may well go in the wrong direction then. You've misled them morally. You may find out later on this guy was a cunt, so you've made a mistake. However, you had good intentions at heart. That's what it's all about. If you're a child, and Myra Hindley says, here, will you not run away if I let you play in the front garden, kid? Yes, Myra, if you let me play in the front garden, I'll stay put. Out you go then. See you later, you fucking cow. And so that would be moral, because you've got good intentions at heart, you're foiling a female paedophile and serial killer. And you can then spread the word. Although people tend not to care when a female is a serial killer, which allows them to grow in number. So there's now 600% more female serial killers than there are male serial killers. And predominantly the female serial killer gets away with it because you can't believe it's happening. However, they are clamping down on that number now in key areas, and whilst letting the rest of them go and recirculating them. So that's really important, if you could just stop lying to yourself. Yeah, and because if you don't overcome, you become. And this is what they want you to become, but it's so slow. That's the problem. Not only does the universe punish you slowly, these people are punishing you slowly, and they're using you. They can rely on you to destroy yourself. Yeah? And it's all because you lie to yourself until you mint, what, a Rolls Royce? No, you mint a fucking razor blade and a bottle of vodka. Yeah, and they're fucking pills to finish the job. Hold that thought. So, what am I on about, eh? What I'm on about is basically men and women need to get together, like yesterday, and wake up and recognise that you are being exterminated. I'm going to give you the solutions, right? Because I came up with the solutions a long time ago. I put them in 2 other videos, but I didn't get around to editing those ones yet, so I'll put it in this one, right? Are you ready? This is the point I'm talking about. I don't make it easy on people, nor should I. Yeah, if something is worth, if something of worth, you know, for you to deserve it, you know, you must have lasted this long. Most people watching this went like this, right? I don't see any tits or any fannies. I'm just twitching them off, right? Or the female equivalent of that would be,
I don't see any fucking pop stars or MD telling me that I'm something I'm not. I'm just twitching them off. I'm just twitching them off.
Basically. So if you've got this far, you deserve this reward, and spread the word. I'm now going to give you the solution to the genocide you're being subjected to. You ready? Really simple, right? Overcome, or you become. Therefore, you have succumbed. Yeah?
You said that already.
So, here's the solution, right? How about the solution to everything?
Flocky knocking the helipification.
So here's the thing, right? How about free energy? Right, how about free energy? Who could provide you with free energy other than a living Christ? Hiya. So, free energy. It's really quite simple, right? You may have seen it. Hiding in plain view. Psychopaths get off on you not seeing it, right? It's called lightning, right? You may have seen it. Gigantic bolts of electricity going from sky to earth, right? Simple, right? Get an £80 rocket.
It's really quite simple to get one.
Right? Get a 2-mile long, wafer thin copper reel, right? Now, have an arm coming out of the rocket, put the reel on it. Now, say for example, for simplicity's sake, we'll use a well, right? The well, right, has a conducting rod in it, right, that heats up when it's struck by lightning. So, you attach one end of the copper reel to the conducting rod, right, which is embedded in a well of water, and up the rocket goes 2 miles into a thundercloud, lightning in it, right? Now, at the other end, right, you have a well, and above the well, in a kind of petal formation, is ducting, yeah, an elbow shape, you know, yeah, all the way around, right? And lining the ducting are dynamos, which spin, right? So, right, hits the cloud, right? Now, electricity always finds the quickest way to Earth, so it follows the copper reel straight to the conducting rod. The conducting rod heats up, the water turns instantly to steam, and then through all the elbow-shaped ducting, it rushes, spinning the dynamos, which all come out to one big cable. It don't have to be one cable, it can be many. The point being, let's just for simplicity's sake say it comes to one gigantic cable. That lightning bolt has been converted straight into a cable by turning water into steam and steam into motion and the motion into electricity, just like pedaling a bike. Yeah. So, does it end there? No. This can be fed straight into your grid, or it could be put in some massive storage facilities. However, the point being, it's free electricity. I would stand well back from that well. Obviously, you'd have a larger reservoir and so on and so forth. But that is free electricity, right? Right? I would only be speculating wildly. But you think about the gigantic lightning bolts you see, right? Right? You're getting infinitely more back than what you're putting in to receive it. Right? And you can see the first half of that experiment that NASA do when they're studying lightning. Second half, obviously, you'd have to do yourself. There's free electricity, and don't forget, there's 50% more lightning now than ever before, and 50% more lightning deaths. So there's free electricity, and an invention that's got nothing to do with psychopaths and overcomes them. Right? And what I would suggest strongly as the solution and recommend highly is we build biospheres and set them on top of rockets that are electric powered. So when this bolt comes down this cable, it just launches them. And those biospheres need to be built now. And there has to be extra biospheres with no inhabitants. So when you start to run out of resources, you can call upon that. And the number one resource will be oxygen. So large biospheres wrapped in a solar panel, which would become a solar cell when you are launched and out there. So within them you would have, essentially what circulates, ultimately, if you speed up the process, you're drinking your own piss and eating your own shite. But that's what you're doing anyway, and the solar panel would give you everything you need, and it can drop down at night and keep you a bit warmer. And you would have to configure it for cold temperatures. However, you can position it near the sun. You have the sun 24/7. And the point being, so these, when this comes down, this lightning bolt, an 80-pound rocket, next time you're all off and away. However, by the same token, say you can't, channel that much energy yet into your technology to launch you, then obviously you can certainly fill up and fill up and fill up and fill up using that method. What comes down makes you go up, right? And vice versa. And so the point being that you need to get the fuck away from here. They can't stop you. These crush-a-mole, whack-a-mole motherfuckers. You can genuinely get the fuck away from here. And I'm going to Africa, and if I was American, I would say, look, if we take ourselves off the plantation, if we take ourselves, out of this hell pit where they're preying on you, believing they're pulling the legs off spiders, where they're saying, your Second Amendment, right? If you take yourself out of it, stop believing it's your territory, right? Just let it go, right? Be non-reactionary by distancing yourself. Follow me to Africa. Put me in Africa. Put yourself in Africa. America. Right? Start again. All the people who believe they're American are intermingled with all these other people who ain't given it up and they ain't gone. There's a moral law being returned in America right now. Right? It took its time. Got there in the end. Many people are the punishment meted out to their great-grandparents. You are the embodiment of the sins of those people. And so, if you fail to improve upon your lot, you adversely affect them in hell. You give them an even deeper birth and you're down there with them. Right? Think about that. The slow return of the moral law of the universe makes you the sins of your forebears, unless you overcome using the dorsolateral section of your brain. So, if not for your sake, for their sake, they're probably down in hell going, for God's sake, be good, you stupid cow. And so, it's exactly how they would sound, I'm sure. I'm going to Africa, right, and got one more mountain to climb. I think it's in this country I'm in just now, and it might be in Africa. I think it might be in this country first, where I want to be entirely self-sufficient, right? Now, the solution I've just given you, right, is one of the biggest solutions. Gives you free energy and overcomes these spastics and their desire for oil, war, all these things that make 3-year-olds come, right? Which is what they are, mentally handicapped 3-year-olds. And so, what I want you to do is think about cars run by electricity. You never need to go cold again, you've got free electricity. For an 80-pound rocket, everybody in the whole city gets free electricity in the winter. So, move the city though, if you don't like those people. For example, in Scotland, what you would call lunatics, people who are evil animals, targeted me, they were closing in on me. right? I'm wise. I witnessed this. I encouraged it to a certain extent because it shouldn't be possible. And I lifted myself up and then took myself away. Yeah, I'm doing that again, although nobody's closing in on me in this locale. And if you're out of sight, you're out of mind. They just want people to prey on, like Worel and the tramp. You know, they want somebody to prey on. If you take yourself up and away, how come your laws don't apply to me if it's the law? There's only the moral law of the universe that pertains to man and woman, right? Right? Nothing else is of any importance. That's it. Moral law, it's either moral or it isn't. End of. Right? How do you, anybody that asks any questions about morality is letting you, it's saving you the price of a brain scan. They don't have prefrontal cortex activity. You know, religion's all bullshit to a certain extent. Really good parables, blah, blah, blah. Only thing that matters, morality and sane tolerance. There's insane tolerance, which in the end, a lot of people realise, fuck this, I'm going to get a bullwhip and just go tonto, right? Which is exactly Yeshua's dying thoughts. And so, which I'll be covering in Erol On Yeshua, right? No, you won't. Yes, you are.